Perspective. I am dreaming. I was sitting on my pillow before the fireplace, facing the door. As I started noticing details like the fire in the fireplace and the rug under my feet, I felt like I'd been there for a while, probably thinking the same thing I was thinking now, not much of anything. My mind felt numb. I couldn't even tell you what I was thinking, let alone feeling. I saw her come in through the door and pause, considering me silently before padding quietly over to sit next to me. You okay? Sure, I guess. I don't know. I'm just processing what happened? She asked. Pretty much, I guess. Anything I can help with? I thought about that question for a moment. Was there anything that could be done to help me with this? I don't know, I said again, a sense of futility behind my words. You know this kind of thing happens all the time. She said this gently. I nodded. That didn't mean I was comfortable with it. Of course not. No one would ever want to become used to seeing something like that. I thought you couldn't read my mind. It's pretty easy when you're broadcasting so clearly, you know, she answered. I'm sure I was broadcasting my ongoing horror and revulsion. She continued. Imagine a world where there were a million lenses and that everyone knew how to use them. And that was an interesting concept. Like if someone hurt someone else, anyone could pick up a lens and see who did it? She nodded. Exactly. And a lot of people might think twice before doing something, maybe. I couldn't help but wonder. Maybe, she answered, and maybe if even more people were able to see something that happens without using a lens. I thought about that. That's like ESP, like clairvoyance or whatever you call it. That's how some people refer to it, yes. I could hear the smile in her voice. I thought about that for a minute. Imagine a world where no one could hide their crimes. It would be, well, that would be heaven, I guess. Paradise, where no one said or did anything without thinking about what might happen, caring about the consequences of their actions before they did something. I can't really imagine. It sounds lovely though, doesn't it? I finished. We both sat there for a while, looking at the fireplace, imagining that world. I sighed. Well, in the meantime, I guess I just learned to put what I see in a box in my brain, shut it up, and mark it with a big death skull emblem, put it in a closet, and close the door. I'm going to have to do something to get past this because it still doesn't tell us who is doing this. She nodded, but didn't say anything. I could feel the overwhelming sadness beginning to take over and sat upright. Nope, not going to let it get to me. The next time will be the last time. We'll see who's doing this and stop him. Third time will be the charm, right? I looked over to her for confirmation. Keep that outcome firmly in your mind. Don't let anyone or anything distract you from that goal. The next time will be the last time. That you will see what you need to see, and only that. That nothing else will come through but that which gives you exactly what you are asking for. We affirm that now. In agreement, we speak. Amen. Selah. So be it. Her words rang like a bell, like hearing a prophecy spoken beside you. I felt the truth of what she said, resonating in my chest as an actual vibration. I breathed in deeply as if I could inhale her words, incorporating them into my physical body. My heart swelled, and I recognized the feeling like I can almost float right off the floor. I reached over and held her hand for a moment before releasing it, as the room slowly faded from my consciousness. I woke up at 5 a.m., once again ravenous, but without any migraine, thankfully. Feeling more like myself than I had in a long time, I made coffee and put frozen French toast in the toaster. I even found a can of frozen orange juice in the back of the freezer, behind the French toast, so I dusted off my large juice pitcher and made OJ. When I sat down, the table before me looked and smelled like an actual, real breakfast. Eventually, I thought to check my phone for messages. It looked like I only missed one text from Charlie, of course. He's probably checking up on me, I thought as I opened the message. I read, "We've got another body." Roberto. Roberto remembers. Sitting in the classroom, dust drifting through the air, flies banging against the window. Out, out, out. Chalk and boards and more writing, writing, writing. Field trip to the museum, pots and stones in glass cases. Voices above him, backs in front of him, slipping into the baño, a sudden hand holding something over his face. What? Waking in the dark, bouncing on hard, cold metal. Where? What? Who? Smells of pee and vomit make him retch. All around him sobbing bodies, huddled in tight balls. Try not to breathe. Try not to see. Try not to hear. To touch. Cold, shaking head, aching, hungry, tired, always thirsty. Bouncing, bouncing, forever. Where are we going? Sleeping, waking, stopping. Doors opening. Bright white light. Hurts. Hands grab his leg as he pulled out, lands on hard dirt. Another hand brushes his forehead. A quiet voice speaks warm, safe. Food, come. Another hand helps him sit, stand. He follows to another car, red like blood. Driving, driving. Houses, buildings flash by. Trees and bridges a blur. He sleeps. He wakes in the night. He does not remember. He sees a man. He sees a hand before him. He takes the hand. Mornings and evenings come and go. Roberto is lonely, sad. He closes his eyes and sees the classroom, his amigos. He wants to go home. The new professor is nice. New professor buys him sweet grapes and berries. New professor buys him big books with bright pictures. New professor reads the big books to Roberto, but this professor also hurts him in the night. He cannot think of it. Sometimes it is too much to bear. Roberto does not want to sleep. New professor comes again. There is pain. There is more pain. Roberto is screaming. Around his neck, his gift from this professor is tight, too tight. Roberto cannot breathe. Roberto cannot scream. Roberto remembers. Te veo, Papa. I'm coming. 5th Rosary Boys victim found. Houston police and FBI frustrated with lack of leads. Aaron Brown, Nancy Harris, Alex Sears, Houston Chronicle, Monday, July 6. It was just past dawn when Special Agent Thomas McKenzie stepped into the trees, separating a section of abandoned quarry from the houses nearby. He thought he'd heard something moving in the underbrush. His flashlight swept over the ground, his senses on high alert for anything at all out of the ordinary. His eyes caught a glimpse of something pale and smooth, moving against the dark background of foliage. There, pushed against and under a section of blackberry thorns was a black trash bag. Inside was a small naked body. Deputies confirmed that this is the 5th victim of the Rosary Boys murderer. All of the victims have been young Hispanic males, aging range from 7 to 10 years old. All have been sodomized and then strangled with a rosary. Investigators are also confirmed the boys all appear to have been brought into the U.S. illegally as part of a child sex trafficking ring. Homemade signs, ribbons, and stuffed animals have started to appear on and around the trees separating the Clear Lake neighborhood from the adjacent Old River Rock Quarry. None of us feel safe here anymore, said one resident who requested to remain anonymous. I know the police are doing what they can, but it isn't enough. We need more officers here, a more visible presence. This has got to stop. A sentiment shared by the residents of this close-knit community. Henry Davis and Sarah Keller contributed to this story. MSNBC, officials on Texas Rosary Boys murders. We need him off the street. An urgent manhunt continues for the person responsible for murdering young Hispanic boys in a suburb of Houston, Texas, where at least 5, possibly 6 children have been found murdered. Local officials are urging anyone to come forward with details saying, we need to get him off the street as soon as possible. NBC News, U.S. News. FBI confirms 5th victim of Rosary Boys murderer, July 7, 1:59 p.m. MDT, updated July 7, 5:17 p.m. MDT, by Donna Melendez. On Monday, the FBI confirmed that its investigators verified the 5th victim in a series of migrant child abduction murderers and are seeking help to apprehend the killer. The FBI's Violent Criminal Apprehension Program, also known as VICAP, has been working closely with Houston police as they frantically try to stop the murders. We are facing multiple challenges in this case. The abduction of illegal migrant children is nearly impossible to be tracked. Karen Pritchard, a VICAP analyst, said, "Even though these children may not be considered important to many, the FBI believes it is important to seek justice for each victim, to close every case possible." As the FBI and Houston police work to stop the murders, investigators have requested that anyone with information contact the Bureau at 1-800-CALL-FBI.